Salut, salut, bienvenue à ton tuto. Aujourd'hui, c'est la prononciation. So a bit of pronunciation. And today we're going to have a look at la phrase et l'intonation. So many parts, aren't there, to communication. And intonation is a really, really important part of it. Can communicate a lot more than you realize, perhaps even more than the actual words themselves. So let's have a look. Let's have a look at the different ways that intonation works in French, and it is different from English. Let's have. On distingue en général trois intonations de phrases. So three different types of intonation in a phrase. L'intonation assertive est caractérisée par une inflexion descendante finale. So when they say assertive, they don't mean you're being assertive. They mean that it's an affirmation. It's not a question, basically. And this is different from English, very different. And if you did this in your French intonation, like you can see with the arrows, it's pointing down at the end of a phrase. And it doesn't have to be a full stop, but it quite often is. It's a chunk of information. Then you will sound much better in your French. You'll sound more French, and it'll be easier for you to be understood. But also, if you start thinking in those terms of sort of like going down in your inflection at the end of a phrase or a chunk, then you can also use that when you're listening, because when you're listening, if you can notice that down, that descending inflection, then you can say, oh, that's the end of a chunk. So that's an idea. So I only need to absorb and process that idea before I go on and do the next one, rather than thinking of it as a whole like continuous run of things. So notice that, c'est difficile. C'est difficile. Because in English we do have a lot of upward inflection. C'est difficile. That would be interpreted as a question, or would be quite confusing because it's the opposite to what we're expecting. So being familiar, being predictable is helpful to communication. So c'est difficile. C'est difficile de s'exprimer en français. So to just get yourself to go down. So you have a go at saying those two. So c'est difficile. Don't go up. That's a temptation. It's not about a deep voice, by the way. It's just by the inflection, not going up, it's going down. C'est difficile de s'exprimer en français. So almost you can imagine it's sort of like going along on a track and then it just goes down a step, if you like, at the end. Okay, l'intonation interrogative est toujours caractérisée par une inflexion montante finale, s'il n'est pas de structure syntaxique interrogative. So this is a question. Questions go up, but it's not always at the end. And it's not about a high voice. It's not about high voice. It's not about singing. It's just about knowing where to put the emphasis to say that this is a question. C'est difficile. C'est difficile. So you can see that's where we're going up. Yeah, the CIL there. C'est difficile. But we're already going up on the D there, really. Yeah, so we're starting to go up. C'est. But no, it's not on the C. C'est difficile. Yeah, and it's not about raising your voice up a pitch. It's just having a little bit of inflection that's going up. And this is the question word here. So that's where we're going to put the inflection. C'est difficile de s'exprimer en français. C'est difficile de s'exprimer en français. C'est difficile ou c'est facile? C'est difficile ou c'est facile? Si l'interrogation est exprimée par la structure syntaxique, l'intonation finale est soit montante, soit descendante. Est-ce que tu viendras? Est-ce que tu viendras? I'm not sure why those are different. Because they're both questions. And we've got the when they say the structure, the syntax, you know, this is the est-ce que. So the est-ce que is telling us it's a question. So est-ce que tu viendras? Est-ce que tu viendras? Est-ce que tu viendras? Well, I suppose it's where we would put the est-ce que there. It's clearer here. When we have a question word in there, that question word is going to get the rising intonation there. Avec qui? Avec qui est-ce que tu vas au cinéma? Avec qui tu vas au cinéma? So that's signaling to the other person. This is the question here. Tu vas où? Où est-ce que tu vas? It also happens on intonation exclamative ou impératif. So if you're exclaiming at something or you're giving an order. So, tout à fait d'accord would be just confirming something. Taisez-vous, taisez-vous is be quiet, be quiet. Taisez-vous, be quiet. Bon, très bien. Okay, let's have a listen to some examples. Okay, let's look at some examples. Okay, have a listen.
La phrase et l'intonation. Exercice 1. Exemple. D'accord? 1.
So what was that one then? Was that a question or was it just a statement from the intonation? Doesn't matter if you know the word or not. Yeah, it's a question. Yeah.
Exemple. D'accord?
Yeah.
1.
Il fait beau.
Is that a question or a statement? Yeah. And so do you want to just practice for just repeating it? Notice that he goes down on that last word. The intonation's going down on the last word. I'll play it again. You can copy him.
Il fait beau.
Yeah, very nice. So remember that in English we could go, il fait beau, you know, we could do that. Yeah, we could, because in English you can sing, can't you? You can sing with the language, yeah? Il fait beau. Yes, but you can't do that in French. So you notice that he was all in the train tracks. Il fait beau. And then he went down on the last syllable. Okay, or last word, sorry.
2.
Ça ira?
Question? Can you practice that? Ça ira? Ça ira? Question?
3.
Il est 4 heures.
Yeah, that's il est 4 heures. Went down at the end. Il est 4 heures. It's a statement.
4.
C'est par là?
Question or statement? Question, yeah. C'est par là? C'est par là? Good.
5.
Vous êtes très loin?
Vous êtes très loin? Question. Nice and clear now, isn't it? Yes.
6.
Il pleut?
Yeah. Question. Il pleut? If it was a statement, il pleut.
7.
Vous êtes tout près.
Question or statement? Statement, yeah. Près at the end, yeah.
8.
Ça ira bien.
Question or statement? Statement, yeah.
9.
C'est à droite.
Statement.
10.
Il est 6h15?
6h15. Question. Yes, excellent. Well done. Let's hear some more.
Exercice 3. 1.
Asseyez-vous.
Now that's an order. That's an order. So it's nice and clear, isn't it? Asseyez-vous. And the vous is going down. That's intonation going down. It's an order. As if your voice goes down, you're always going to have more gravitas, aren't you? So I suppose if you're giving an order, your voice going down is going to have more impact.
2.
Allumez votre ordinateur.
So allumez, he did go up a bit, didn't he, there? But it's not a question. Allumez votre ordinateur. Votre ordinateur. So this is an order again, an imperative.
3.
Créez un dossier pour ce cours.
Another instruction.
4.
Ouvrez un fichier Word.
That's word, by the way. Word.
5,
Mettez-le dans le dossier à la date de ce jour.
So it doesn't matter how long the sentence is. It's going to be nice and flat, and then it's going to go down at the very end. All right, let's play those again and see if you can repeat them. Thinking about going down in your intonation at the end of each one.
exercice 3. 1,
Asseyez-vous.
Okay, to you.
2,
Allumez votre ordinateur.
Good.
3,
Créez un dossier pour ce cours.
Good.
4,
Ouvrez un fichier Word.
Good.
5,
Mettez-le dans le dossier à la date de ce jour.
That's quite a long one to remember. Okay. That's that one. All right, then this is the last section for us to listen to.
Exercice 4. 1.
viens voir.
That's an order. Viens voir.
2. Voir quoi?
What's that one? That's a question. Yeah. Viens voir quoi? And the word, the quoi, gets the emphasis. Because that's the question word.
3.
Cet hôtel particulier.
Very good. That's a really good example of a sentence where every single syllable is being pronounced exactly the same, and it's on the train tracks. Yes. It comes down particulier.
4. Tu aimes vraiment?
Yeah, question. So it doesn't have to go doesn't have to go through the roof going up. It's just enough for us to see that it's the question. Tu aimes vraiment?
5.
Absolument, je trouve ça magnifique.
So that was interesting, wasn't it? Because the absolument went down. You can see that that's where the full stop is, or the exclamation mark, if you like. Exclamation, absolument. Je trouve ça magnifique.
6. La façade est un peu chargée, je trouve.
That's just a statement. Yeah.
7.
Oui, mais quelle harmonie!
So the quelle, it's not a question, it's an exclamation. Quelle harmonie? Quelle harmonie is the quelle is a sort of like an exclamation saying, you know, this is really lovely, or it's noticeable.
8. Ça me laisse assez froid.
Ça me laisse assez froid. Down at the end, hear the intonation at the end. Yeah. Voilà, très bien. So things to remember when you're asking a question, it's the question part of the question when we're hearing the rising intonation. It doesn't have to be a really high-pitched voice. It's just that you want to have there's the flat of the normal phrase, and you're just going to go up enough to show the difference. And then when you're speaking, when you're saying a statement, you're going to go along and then go step down at the end of each chunk of information, whether that be a comma or a full stop or an exclamation mark or question, etc. And then if you're making an instruction, you're giving an instruction, or an order, then you're going to go, and then it's going to go down. It's very clearly go down. So it's like step down. Hope you found that useful. Thank you very much for coming along and listening to the end. And I hope to see you again soon. Merci beaucoup. Merci.